Okay, thank you. Madam President, fellow Toastmasters, dear guests, good afternoon. Welcome to the 126th meeting of the Toastmasters Club of Storytellers. My name is Mohit Sani. I am your club sergeant at arms, and my main role is to maintain order in the club meetings. Before I continue, I would like to share a bit about my journey as a sergeant at arms and a little story attached to that. So several months ago, and this was before I joined as the sergeant at arms of Toastmasters Club of Storytellers, I got a feedback from my uh, organization manager, and I don't know how you guys take feedback. Feedback that happens formally as a part of the annual feedback cycle is one feedback, but I in particular try to talk to people who I trust, who I look up to, and I take feedback from them, and I consider that feedback as the real genuine feedback. So this person who I trust, her name is Gemma. She gave me a specific feedback that although you're doing well, Mohit, you have a good communication, you have a good verbal as well as written command over the language. But one thing which I would like to for you to focus on is that I feel sometimes your cadence is slow. Your cadence is slow. When I asked what does that really mean, she shared that sometimes when you're asked a question, though you take some time to come back, and uh, it's fine to take a pause, but sometimes it's longer than a pause and it looks like you're not confident. So net, my cadence is slow, is what she said. Now I took that away and I pondered over it and I thought about it. And Toastmasters is obviously our go-to place for trying to see how we can improve ourselves in any aspects. So I turned on to Toastmasters, and when the opportunity came to take up the role of sergeant at arms, I took it up with open open hands. And now, as we are in June and our term is nearing, I was reflecting upon how this role has helped me. Now, for a sergeant at arms, every meeting you get an opportunity to come forward and open the meeting. And I have done that time and time again. And that has definitely, in my view, helped me in overcoming this feedback that I got from my manager back then. For me, Sergeant at Arms is an acronym for systematic, active, and accountable. So these are the three specific things, these systematic, active, and accountable, the SAA, that I've learned and improved upon in my 5 or 6 months that I've been the Sergeant at Arms of the club. Now, coincidentally, Gemma was here again a few weeks back, and I asked her to follow up on how she felt uh, I am doing on that feedback that she'd given to me. So she said that I see a marked improvement in your communication cadence. In fact, she asked me, how did I do it? So that's the meaning, or that's how I think the Sergeant at Arms role has helped me in particular. I wanted to share that story with you all so you can, uh, you know, use some of the things that we do at Toastmasters to improve upon your skills in workplace as well. Now, having said that, let's move on. Our mission for Toastmasters Club of Storytellers is to hone our storytelling skills, and we do so by following the Toastmasters Club mission. Toastmasters Club mission is to provide a mutually supportive and positive learning environment in which every individual member has the opportunity to develop oral communication and leadership skills, which in turn foster self-confidence and personal growth. Couple of ground rules before we head forward with the meeting. Number one, sex, politics, and religion are sensitive topics, and therefore either refrain from them or handle them very delicately. Secondly, I would encourage all of you to be fully present in the meeting. Stay unmuted and keep your video on as much as you possibly can. However, do maintain the decorum throughout the meeting. You can do so by smiling, applauding, and participating as much as possible. It's a 2-hour long meeting, so do feel free to grab any beverages or snack if you would like. And you can also feel free to excuse yourself if you have to take a bio break or if you have to go out for something urgent. Just mention that in the chat box so that one of us will cover for you while you are away. With that, now let me invite our very dynamic, charismatic, our president for opening address. Toastmaster Mehak Kapoor is our president. She's a BCom honors student at Delhi University. She loves to spend her time in drawing, painting, and reading. And without further ado, let's just unmute ourselves and give a big round of applause to our Madam President, Toastmaster Mehak Kapoor.
Thank you so much, Sanjay Kams, for such a warm welcome. Good evening, everyone, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. I welcome you all to the 126th meeting of Toastmasters Club of Storytellers. Please give a round of applause for everyone we present here today. As we gather here, let us remember that leadership position is not just about attaining a title. It is also about the upliftment, about not only for your own self, but for the others as well. On this note, I want to start with how I came into this leadership position as Vice President Education earlier and now as a president. 2 years back, I joined the club as a Vice President Education itself. Starting with it, I just took up the second most position in the Toastmasters Club of being a Vice President of Education. Apart from the challenges that it posed, it also held me for so many benefits and the other grounds that it laid for me. Being a configured person now, I think the leadership position that I uphold initially was something that started over my journey with. And I wish to see leaders coming more from our club as well. On this note, I want to make few of the announcements for our upcoming term from July, starting with the first one that we are going to have our EC elections, that is Executive Committee elections in the coming week. And for that matter itself, we have today the meeting by Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Deepti Sani, that is aligned for you to understand what an EC position is and what all benefits it was for all of us and what all things we would be requiring, what are something that we would align with and which position we have to take back as an EC officer. Moving upon, the second most important announcement is that we would be opening up the Google form as well. So as to look at what your preference is after the meeting gets over. So you can select the role that you preferably want to acquire in as an EC officer. Third one being that there is an event, an evaluation contest being organized by 6 of the clubs in the district, and that's being called as ESTOIL. We require some of the role players for that meeting, and you can call on me if you want any of the roles. You can just send me a message. I think the role of the timer, Sergeant Camps would be open for everyone. So if you want to take up any of the role, and we have one of the role of the judges as well. And I would highly encourage guests to please, the new Toastmasters to come up and take this role. You can contact me if you want to take any of the roles in the ESTOIL meeting that is going to happen on 17th at YMCA. Timings would be from 10 to 1. And I would also share the message for the same in the group so that you all to know that what the event is all about. It is an in-person meeting. So if you are in Delhi, I would surely ask you all to come up and to show at this event. Now, another announcement is that we are going to launch our newsletter as well for the month of May. So I would also request you all to now submit your entries for the newsletter of the June. And I would request everyone to please start writing again. We need to make our website more attractive. So keep on writing, share your piece of writings with Toastmaster Mohit, or you can publish it on your website as well. And once you do so, we will select the best articles that will also be published in the newsletter. So these were all of the announcements. Now I would like to welcome the guest for the meeting today. First up, I see guest Shilpa on. I would like to welcome her on stage for a short and a brief introduction. Guest Shilpa.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mehak. Thank you for welcoming me on the stage and giving me this opportunity to speak. So I am from a different Toastmasters club. I am a part of Toastmasters Chandigarh Club of Infosys. And I joined this meeting to understand how the EC works and what is the EC all about. So that is my reason for joining this meeting today. And I would like to just be an observer and see how things work differently at different clubs around the country in the community of Toastmasters. So thank you so much for having me on the floor.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Shilpa, for joining in today. I'm sure that you would be gaining much insights about how an EC works today. Next, I would like to invite on stage guest Piyush to please give a small introduction about himself.
Hi, thank you. So I just actually joined here first time, and it is also my first time joining a Toastmasters club. I just joined because I just wanted to experience, what these meetups are all about. And so my intro, I would say I'm a data engineer at Genpact, and just want to improve my communication skills. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Piyush, for joining in today. I hope that you will be able to get much insights about the Toastmasters meeting and how the session goes on. So thank you so much for joining in. Now, without wasting any more time, let's invite on stage our Vice President Education, Toastmaster Deepti Sahni, for her theme of the meeting, Ye EC Kya Hai, with a huge round of applause.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mehak, and everybody else in the meeting today. Well, it's going to be something which is different and interesting. Different because we are going to talk about Toastmasters itself. We are not going to talk about any third topic. And interesting because we are going to do it in an interesting way. We are not going to have a usual gyan or a session full of knowledge, quote unquote. You will have those as a byproduct of what you hear from us. And well, by now I'm sure you've also understood that why the Toastmaster Mohit or Toastmaster Mehak talk about their journeys in their respective EC roles, because they wanted to touch upon the theme today. So let's get started. When we start, I have a PPT to share with you. I will use my PowerPoint as a prop to run through the meeting. And here it goes. All right. So the session today is all about EC, and EC is the, so what we're going to walk through is a sneak peek into what the different roles are, what is EC, what does EC mean at the very basic. And this is essentially targeted towards our newer members in the club. The experienced members, please feel free to join in and to share your experiences of how you have handled or you have taken the position, and what is it that it brought to you. Okay, so with that, we get into the session today. And just to set the context, it is not a deep dive into each role. It is about making you aware or giving each one of you, especially the new members, a glimpse of what does it take to play a role in the EC team. And what is the EC team? after all. All right, with that, let's go to the first slide. So before we begin, we're going to talk about the structure of Toastmasters. Toastmasters as a larger organization. Okay. At a very high level, the level that which we can see as a member, okay, is the district. Now, how many of you, I'm talking to the newer members here, know who our district director is? And what is the district number to which our club belongs? Raise of hands. Let me ask you, Saurabh. Would you want to take a shot at it?
Yes, District 41.
Absolutely right. We are a part of District 41. Uncle, would you want to try and attempt sharing the name of our district director?
District Ankur Oberoi, if I'm right.
Okay, so half the name is correct. That's Ankur Yadav. I can understand namesakes do tend to lead us to confusion. But yes, it's Distinguished Toastmaster Ankur Yadav. His term ends on June 30th. Okay, and each of us should be glad to know that Ankur Yadav is one of the few district directors who have volunteered to be a part of our club group, at least until 30th June. He intends to make some announcements directly and reach out to club members. That is his intention. Now, what happens after 30th June? What will happen after 30th June if Ankur's tenure ends on 30th June? Do you think we should get a new district director?
Yeah.
Right? So who is our new district director? The elections have already happened and we have a new district director elect, which is Distinguished Toastmaster Suman Shakya. He is the district director elect. That is how we refer to them. And he is based out of Nepal. So Nepal is within District 41. Okay. These are our district director leads. So there are two supporting more roles. It's a trio, like any other organization. We'll introduce you with the trio a little later. For now, let's proceed to see the structure. A district has many divisions. Okay. Do you know the number of divisions that our district has at this point in time? You can take a guess.
5 or 6.
Okay, any other guesses? Experienced Toastmasters?
11, 12,
One number. 11 or 12?
11.
Well, yes, that is the correct number. So we have 11 divisions, and our divisions are named alphabetically, A, B, C, D onwards. All right. Which division do we belong to? What is our alphabet? How do we recognize? Yes. Wow, that is cool. And who's our division director? I've already shared the name. It's Toastmaster Devin Solanki. We haven't been able to meet him in person, but yes, he's always around and a call away in case we want to speak with him. And do you know that we also have a division director elect? Well, yes, we do. And that is Toastmaster Sakshi Jain, right? So she's been elected as our division director for the term starting July. Now, within the division, we have many areas, right? What area are we a part of? Area 1, 2, 3, 4. So areas are numbers. Divisions are alphabets.
Area 6.
That's a wild guess, Saurabh. Well, we are area 1. So we are F1, right? And our current area director is Toastmaster Sakshi Jain. So she is the one who's going to lead us at the division level in the next term. Now, who's going to be our area director for July onwards? We don't know yet. We'll get to know because the forms or submissions are happening at this point in time. You need to have served your club to apply for an area director position. And an area covers more than one club. It covers at most 4 to 5 clubs. We have a lot of people here, and we are blessed to have two of our rather 3 or 4 of our long-serving experienced Toastmasters here who have served at the district level, whether in a division director role or area director role. And that includes Toastmaster Diptendu, Distinguished Toastmaster Raj Mehta, Toastmaster Mohit, and yes. So hopefully we'll get to see more people in this role. Let's move on from area. So an area constitutes of club, right? And what is our club? Toastmasters Club of Storytellers, right? And who is the lead in a club?
The president,
Absolutely. And who is our president?
Mehak.
None other than Toastmaster Mehak.
Absolutely. Bang on. So a club is which belongs to us. और club के हम सिकंदर हैं. And the song that I would like to dedicate to a club is this one.
No sound here.
Yes, I understood that. I will reshare with sound.
We know the song though.
So let us sing together. Then
Yeah, हम सिकंदर
चाहे तो रख के सब
अपनी जेब के अंदर
अरे हमसे बच के रहना मेरे यार.
हारी बाजी को जीतना हमें आता है. Diptendu, you have to unmute.
Oh yeah.
हारी बाजी को जीतना हमें आता है. निकलेंगे मैदान से न न न न न.
धरती कहेगी ये कदम
चूम के.
यहाँ के हम सिकंदर. Absolutely.
Hey.
Thank you.
That sounded better than the video.
I'm sure that's correct. तो यहाँ के हम सिकंदर हैं. बिल्कुल. अब the thing that I want to cover now is that who are these Sikandars? Can anybody take a wild guess? Who are the Sikandars that I'm going to talk about?
REC team.
EC team.
Absolutely. We're going to talk about our EC team and we're going to cover details. But before that, and for the benefit of guests and new members, let me call out the structure of a regular Toastmasters meeting. A regular Toastmasters meeting always has 3 sections. And the 3 sections include the first one being prepared speeches section. Now, this is a section where speakers deliver speeches based on their objectives, which are provided by the Toastmasters International. These are a part of what we call educational pathways. And this section is what we usually hold in high regard, the prepared speeches section. The second section is the impromptu speaking section, where we speak from our heart. We don't memorize or write or prepare beforehand. This is where speakers are given a topic on the spot and they have to talk about the topic for nearly 2 minutes. The third section is a section where we learn to be proud of our strengths and we accept and improve on our follies. This is called the evaluation section. This is where evaluators will provide us feedback and mention the areas that we can improve upon. And on that note, let me call upon stage our general evaluator for today. Our general evaluator for today is Toastmaster Arjun. Now, Toastmaster Arjun is a techie guy. And he has been in love with technology and calls himself a technophile until the point where now he is completely in the opposite. He says, I'm more a Luddite, which means I'm opposed to technology for all the reasons that he can share. So let us hear Toastmaster Arjun.
Uh, Thank you, Toastmaster Deepti, for that wonderful, wonderful introduction. I didn't know it was called Luddite. I thought it was always Luddite, where where somebody is opposed to technology just because they all don't always believe that a new technology is always better. Okay, getting to the meeting. What is the difference between a Toastmasters meeting and any other official meeting that you have? Are we so in love with our offices that on a weekend we have to come together and simulate another office meeting in our free time? What is wrong with us? Why are we doing this? Uh, and what is the difference between an office meeting and some even an office meeting? We all know somebody's always talking too much, or somebody doesn't talk at all, and nobody improves because at the next meeting it is all going to be the same. You just know that if there is a email sent out, oh, there is 11 a.m. meeting in the office today, and everybody just groans and accepts it. Oh God, another one of these meetings. Where the point of the meeting is for everybody to feel good about the meeting. Everybody knows whatever has been discussed, nothing is going to get done, but it's a good meeting, right? Like all the managerial people, they all need to feel good about the meeting. So the difference between a Toastmasters meeting and any other meeting is that we actually seek to master the art of meeting. We try to get feedback and we try to improve upon the next meeting. And how do we improve upon? We have all these role players, we have all these speakers, and there will be there will be dedicated people for monitoring each and every role. So these roles are called the tag teams. So timer, our counter, uh, grammarian, who are authorized. It is not that you have to take somebody in the back room and say, you really might need to work on your grammar and literature, or maybe you should stop talking so many in hours and hours. You should this is official. There will be people dedicated to working all this, and so with that, I will I will call upon the timer for today, who is Toastmaster Hardik, or uh, wait, Toastmaster
It's me, Toastmaster Rahul.
Rahul, yeah,
Yes,
Toastmaster Rahul. So please introduce your role.
sure. Thank you, Journal Evaluator. Hello, everyone. My role as the timer is to keep time for all the speakers to ensure that everyone speaks within their allotted time slot. And this will also help in ensuring that the meeting runs on time. And I will be tracking the time by showing yellow, red, and green sign through my screen sharing. And the timings of showing these signs will be different based on the different roles. For example, prepared speeches are for 5 to 7 minutes. So I'll show the green sign at 5 minutes, yellow at 6, and red sign at 7. And please also note that the speaker will have 30 seconds grace period on both side of the specified time limit. So that's for prepared speeches. For table topic, the time allotted is 1 to 2 minutes. So I'll show green at 1, yellow at 1 minute 30 second, and red at 2 minutes. The speaker will have 30 seconds grace period on the upper side for the table topics. And then speech evaluation, time allotted is 2 to 3 minutes. So I'll show green at 2, yellow at 2 minute 30, red at 3 minute. And speech evaluation, the speaker has a grace period of 30 seconds on both side of the specified time limit. So yeah, that's what the time duration for all these roles. I'll present my report at the end of the meeting. That's all from my side. Back to you, Toastmaster Arjun.
Yes, uh, I didn't remember your name. You don't remember my name. I think you're leaving. So so that was a
I
great
got confused
introduction.
between your and Ankan name.
Okay, fair enough. So that was the timer role. Thanks for such a detailed description of the timer's role. because we all know some people. We wish we could have timers at other meetings, but here we do have one. So our next role play for today is the R counter. Have you ever the R counter for today? And to explain their role, we have. I would like to introduce the R counter for today, who is Toastmaster Mohit.
Thank you, Toastmaster Arjun. So I have my brother-in-law's daughter, who's almost 2 years old now, and she mumbles and she's not able to speak some words properly. And every time she mispronounces a word or has a mumbling sound, we love it, right? We laugh and we hug her and we even kiss her. But as we grow up, those mumbling sounds or meaningless words add little value to us. Imagine you are in an interview or in a meeting and there are lots of ahs and ums and long pauses that are coming. That would definitely go against you. It wouldn't give you any kisses. It might just mean the kiss of death for whatever purpose you were in for that meeting, right? So that's where my role comes in. Today, I'll be the ah counter. I'll be making a note of the ahs, ums, or crutch words such as like, because, etc., which are used unnecessarily by speakers. I'll take note of them and then come back with a detailed report at the end of the meeting so that we can see how we are doing. And that's the first step in us improving in that aspect. Thank you, and I'll pass it back to Toastmaster Arjun.
Toastmaster Mohit, knocking it out of the park as always. I mean, I can't. I'm always impressed by Toastmaster Mohit. So our next role player for today is the grammarian. A very important role because he will explain why it is important. So can I have the grammarian for today, Toastmaster Ankan, on the stage?
Thank you, Toastmaster Arjun. I'll be playing role of grammarian today. And as a grammarian, my job would be to listen to every participant, every speaker, guest members, and take note of good usage of English and some not so good usage of English. I'll be presenting my report at the end of the meeting. As a grammarian, my another role is to present a word of the day. So today's word of the day is solatium. It is a thing given to someone as a compensation or a consolation. Like for example, valuable solatium in the form of apology was offered to him. I'll encourage every member, every participant to use this word of the day in their speeches and any of the sayings. And I'll be presenting my report at the end of the meeting. Thank you for today.
Thank you for the description of your role. And I, in general, will be evaluating the whole meeting as a whole. But we have one more role play today, who's the table topics evaluator. Today we have a section for those who are new to Toastmaster. The table topics is an impromptu speaking section. And we have an evaluator for that role also. And to explain that role further, I would like to call upon table topic evaluator, Toastmaster Deependra.
Afternoon everyone, thank you Mr. General Evaluator. Today I'll be playing the role of a table topics evaluator, wherein I will try to highlight one positive and one area of improvement regarding your table topics speech. Table topics, as you all know, is a section for impromptu speaking, and it certainly is a tall order to construct anything cohesive and consistent in those 1 to 2 minutes. So my job will be to help you improve with your impromptu speaking game and instill confidence in you by highlighting something positive. With that, I hand the stage back to Mr. General Evaluator.
Okay, thank you, Toastmaster Deependra. On the other hand, will be evaluating the meeting as a whole, and me and my tag team and table topic evaluator will be back at the end of the meeting with our report. So with that, I give the stage back to the team out of the day, Toastmaster Deep.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator, Toastmaster Arjun. And thank you for handing it over back to me, who's the anchor of the meeting today. Let me go back to sharing my screen. So we were talking about the Sikandar of the club. And yes, you guessed it right. Sikandars are mostly the EC roles. Let's see who this EC is and what are the different roles. Any guesses on the total number of roles that we have in an EC? This is more for the newer members. Saurabh, Ankan, total number of roles? A wild guess?
3.
3.
Yeah,
Diptendu
club
is giving
secretary,
an
vice
answer.
president education,
You
and
counting aloud?
treasury.
Okay, then let's see. All
4.
right. Yeah, no, it's more than 4. Okay, there are 7 roles here. The first and foremost is the president. Okay. Next is the VP education, the VP membership, VP PR, treasurer, secretary, and the sergeant at arms. Will there be any song that any of you would like to dedicate to the Sikandars? If not, let me.
हम
Yeah.
साथ साथ हैं.
That's precisely the song. Absolutely.
चले चलो कोई हमसे जीत ना पाए चले चलो.
चले चलो बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. That's true. So हम साथ साथ हैं इसलिए साथ मिलके चले चलो. And these guys form the EC or the XCOM. These are the abbreviations or short forms that you'll get to hear over and over again. All of these actually mean the executive committee of the club. We are also called the club officers. Okay, so anytime anybody says that the club officers training is scheduled for the month of August or November, it basically means the training, which will be a glimpse into the roles and responsibilities of these 7 members. Let's move on to the first EC role. Okay, before that, I would like to touch upon the benefits of becoming an EC or a member of the executive committee. Anybody wanting to call out any benefits, or would you want to see what I have to present? Yes, Toastmaster Mohit, you have your hand raised.
I actually had a point about the previous slide,
Hmm.
and I'm sharing this based on my experience. And if we can go back to the previous slide.
Sure.
So although it says over here that there are 7 roles, but one important point and often missed out is the fact that the 8th Sikandar, so to say, is the immediate past president who continues to be a part of the team of the executive committee. I just wanted to share that. Here.
Absolutely. Now I also see why did the Toastmaster Diptendu raise his hand with 8 fingers. Isn't that correct, Toastmaster Diptendu?
Yes, exactly, yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for correcting us before we proceed further. So immediate past president, and in our case, this time we had Toastmaster Mehak serve twice as the president. So she plays a dual role as the current president and also as the immediate past president. So thank you. All right. So before we delve deeper into each of the roles, I wanted us to recognize the benefits of becoming a member of the executive committee. Let's start from somewhere. Well, if you see a benefit, one of the main benefits of becoming an XCOM member is that you get to know your other fellow members better, because in that role, you're serving them, you're helping them grow while you're growing yourself. There is increased level of cross-club interactions. Once you become the president, you will be contacted by presidents of other clubs for joint meetings. You will be contacted for conducting events. So there is a lot of opportunity and room for cross-club interactions, which means that you don't not necessarily restrict yourself in the club that you are in, you don't weekly talk to the members that you are interacting with on a weekly basis. You also reach out to people who are further away from you. Third benefit, you become a part of a larger district level community. So each of the executive members have a WhatsApp group, which is at a district level. So you get to reach out to clubs from Nepal, from different cities in India, from Chandigarh, right? Even from Dehradun, Uttarakhand, any club within a district. You also get opportunities to work at the division and district level events when you become a member of the executive committee, because you become a face of the club. I would like to recall Toastmaster Mehak. She was serving for a very recent club district level event called Oration. Toastmaster Mehak, would you like to quickly share with us what contributions or how did you interact at the Oration event, a district level event?
Yes, thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day. So as a district leader, I was a part of associate PR group, wherein I did all the posters related things, the posters that were related to the oration, and the guests who were being invited as the keynote speakers. The introduction about those that has to be formulated in a better manner and to be presented ahead in the community of Toastmasters itself. Apart from this, my role was also included to make some of the posters for the oration event itself. That included posters for the keynote speakers, the things about oration, what all things need to be done at the oration. So basically about the public relation things.
Oh, thank you, Toastmaster Mehak. So that was participation at the district level. I know for sure, and all of us in fact know, Diptendu, Toastmaster Diptendu is a part of actively working on the newsletter for the division. Toastmaster Diptendu, would you like to take a spot and share with us what are you doing for the division?
So yeah, as part of the newsletter team, what we do is we collect and collate articles for it and try to give the entire newsletter some form and shape and come up with a theme based on the articles that we have. Then edit it content-wise, edit it look-wise, and then release it for everyone to consume. So it really helps people who want to showcase their talent in the form of a poem or an article, or just they want to put their thoughts out. They can do that through the newsletter and it reaches a wide audience. And of course, it is a good learning for us all as well to edit something like a newsletter.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Diptendu. So yes, so opportunities are galore. We need to just avail them by stepping into the next role. You also develop leadership skills like delegation, negotiation, decision making, problem solving. These are just a few to list here. The list can actually go on. You learn soft skills, even skills like agreeing to disagree, empathy, emotional intelligence. These are skills that you take back home. One beautiful thing that I got to learn recently is that you can also get letter of recommendations on a TRL letterhead for work that is well done. So you can use it, attach it to your CV. You can use it for your personal or your professional work and for showcasing your commitment and your contribution outside office work. Get an edge over others. And then, of course, you get to attend trainings, especially club officer trainings from senior leaders. Now, these senior leaders are not only seniors within the Toastmaster community, they are leaders in their own right. So we have people like distinguished Toastmaster Suman Shakya, like Ankur Yadav, who are founders, who are entrepreneurs, and they are running their own respective companies very well. We have CEOs of other companies. Recently at Oration, we had a speaker called Dr. Sabri Girish. He leads, he's the CEO, he's a doctor, an ENT surgeon, and he leads Ananta Hospitals, that chain of hospitals in Trivandrum. So these are leaders in their own field of work as well. So you get to directly interact with them. And of course, this is the starting point of becoming a distinguished Toastmaster, which is the highest educational award for any Toastmaster in the fraternity. And we are blessed to have somebody like distinguished Toastmaster Raj Mehta join us today. All right, with that, let's move on to our prepared speeches section. We have one speech today, which is going to be delivered by none other than Toastmaster Lokesh. Toastmaster Lokesh is an export consultant, and he represents India in the international business community. Before I invite Toastmaster Lokesh for his speech, I would like to call upon his evaluator, Toastmaster Diptendu, on the virtual podium to share the objectives for Toastmaster Lokesh's speech.
Thank you, Madam T.M. Modi. Today, Toastmaster Lokesh is going to deliver a project which belongs to Level 3 Project 2 of the Pathway Presentation Mastery. The objectives of the speech are for the member to demonstrate his understanding of how to use presentation software, including the creation of slides and incorporating technology into a speech. The speech may be humorous, informational, or of any other style of the member's choosing. Wishing Toastmaster Lokesh the very best, and back to Madam T.M. Modi.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Diptendu. And before I would like everybody to know that Toastmaster Diptendu is a software engineer by profession, but music is his passion. And he's not only sung at various corporate events and religious events like the Durga Puja, but he's also worked and sung with some well-known industry people as well. So thank you, Toastmaster Diptendu. With that, Toastmaster Lokesh, let's do a quick audio video check for you. Please unmute and let me know if you're ready for your speech today.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Awesome. So Toastmaster Lokesh, what is Federation of Business Ambassadors? What is the Federation of Business Ambassadors? Toastmaster Lokesh.
Thank you, Madam T.M. Modi. Let me tell you a story before I can delve into what is Federation of Business Ambassadors. Imagine there are two people outside India from India, and they are pitching for business with overseas retailers, wholesalers, and now e-commerce sellers also, wherein they're talking about global competition, not only among countries, but also talking about competition within India, and pitching for a service, a bouquet of service to be offered to the client, not only motivating them, inspiring them to include India in their buying operations, but also to make sure that they are coming with them and not only going to India to buy products from factories on their own or with some other competitive entity. That scenario creates a lot of trust building questions. The pitch of the business becomes more of why me. Soon after, they have convinced the customer that why India. And there is very high chances that when you do this, you tend to pin down the competition, especially when it is brought to the table as a direct question, which clients certainly will use most probably. For example, in one of my such business pitch in the US, he was very upfront and said, Lokesh, I know I have to be in India. I know the strength of India as a product manufacturer. I have two more buying agents, two more business ambassadors like you coming to me, convincing me, motivating me to come to India. And I also like to work with a business ambassador or a buying agent who will be managing our business. I'm not giving you the introduction, but I'm giving you the story right now. Why should I hire you instead of Ajay or Shalini? Now that creates a room for me to not only pitch for my strength, but also to pin down who is Ajay and who is Shalini. Especially if I'm an experienced business ambassador, I have to know my competition. In that scenario, I will most likely use some negative perception of not having team, not having experience like me. And that negative thought travels back with me in India. And when we are in some trade fairs or some business conferences where I see Shalini and Ajay, my own guilt in my mind creates a wall between us. We will not talk to each other. We will not even see eye to eye. And if we have a customer along with us at a trade fair, we'll tend to move away. Now, in that scenario, in that story, imagine a group of small 7 or 8 business ambassadors getting together as a small WhatsApp group in 2014. Like-minded friends, somewhere working along in the same company before, and then they started their own entities. There's an entry of another person who's a very active person, and he has a group of 125 such people on LinkedIn. And he started to grow this WhatsApp group as a culture, which is everybody know in India when the WhatsApp happened, how much was a culture to add more friends and have some groups. And so that number grew to 76. And there are all business ambassadors, buying agents, having their different entities. And the first meeting of that federation, such group of friends happened in 2016, wherein there were 50 buying agents, business ambassadors came in one meeting. It's a networking dinner together, better together. And that's exactly what the Federation of Business Ambassadors saw, that instead of having those negativities and negative walls built around you, you should be looking at how to create ecosystem where we can help each other. How can we be better together? And that's where started formalizing and created the Business Ambassadors Federation. Now, coming to the definition of a business ambassadors. Who are business ambassadors? From the story, you must have known that they are people who are having services offered to overseas retailers, wholesalers, or e-commerce sellers, global brands for selling apparel, jewelry, furniture, primarily labor-intensive sector goods from India, because that's where there is a lot of inconsistency in quality, a lot of inconsistency in commitment of delivery, delays, price points, logistics, small orders. I would say a huge bouquet of problems at one place. And especially when you're overseas, you would like to make use of that strength of a person. You would say, okay, let me have a local person in India who will be my eyes and ears. I call them loss prevention officers at some time, who are proactively looking at the entire supply chain ecosystem and making sure that my supply chain is not hindered. And I am able to sell my goods in my shop, whether it's an online shop or a retail store or a chain of stores, without having problem. Now, you must all agree that having a nice product at the right time is the foundation of your shop, your business. And that becomes a huge problem, a pain point, if it is not working right. And that is what we call the buying agent as the business ambassadors. Because in my story, I told you the first point of cracking business is why India. And as an ambassador in business, that is where we convert the whole mindset of the buyer to drive away from China, Vietnam, and other sourcing countries to India. And it's a huge challenge to bring them to India because of all the issues which we have. And hence the labor intensive sector, which you say is all exporters, and hence we are connected to all the export councils. And that is how we, as business ambassadors, as buying agents, create an ecosystem, a platform where the business is generated not only for them as a service provider, but also the business goes to factories, because they are the real producers. They are the people who will produce the goods, and we're going to manage all those productions in terms of quality, logistics, design, even the tour of the buyer to the factory. And that's why we have all the export councils at the bottom you see in the presentation: AEPC, Export Council of Apparel, Jewelry, Carpet, Pedexil is cotton,
So
handloom.
7 minutes are over, just to interrupt. You
Okay.
have another 10 or 15 seconds to wrap up.
Sure. And this is how what we call is the business ambassadors, bringing not only business for India, they also bring business for themselves, and they also bring business to the exporters. And this is the end of my presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Toastmaster Lokesh. I would like to give 1 minute to everybody to please share their feedback or thoughts with Toastmaster Lokesh using the chat option. All right, thank you. 1 minute is up. Let us come back to our EC roles.
Just before that, Toastmaster Deepti, can I just request that we check with Toastmaster Lokesh if he has received at least a substantial number of feedback comments? Toastmaster Lokesh?
Yes,
Are you happy?
I did. I did. Thank you.
Sure, thank you. All right, thank you, Toastmaster Deepti. Back to you.
Thank you. All right, let's dive into the president. Okay, so now I'm going to relate these EC roles to everyday life. Most of us are either working or understand how a company works, right? So I am going to relate to the EC roles of how a regular company functions. A president at Toastmasters, how could you relate to him in a regular company? What role could he be having in a regular company? Okay, let me spill the beans. I would rather relate to him as the CEO of the company. He's the highest ranking officer in terms of Toastmasters in a club, but I would call him the CEO of the Toastmasters Club. Okay. He's the one. Yes, Toastmaster Mohit.
Just wanted to correct the language used here. We are calling it he. Let's be mindful that it could be a he or a she. So just
they are.
that out.
Right. So we need to be mindful taking the inclusion IND initiatives running in all companies these days. And I totally agree. Feedback accepted. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mohit. So the president of any club guides the club officers in achieving club goals and monitors club progress. That's the main role or the duty of the president of a club. They represent the club at various levels and at various events. Toastmaster Mehak shared a few examples herself just a couple of minutes back. How I would also like to bring home the role of a president is by sharing certain transferable skills with you that this role brings. By transferable skills, I mean skills that you learn here in Toastmasters and take them home to take them back to your office space or to your colleges, whether graduate or postgraduate colleges, or whatever professional courses that you're pursuing. So the kind of transferable skills that the role of a president gives to you are decision making, timeliness, delegation, strategic planning. And the song that I'd like to tell or share for the role of a president will be Main Hu Dawn. Right? So a quick pause here. Any questions from anybody regarding the role or the transferable skills? Okay, let's move on to our next role. And if you have any questions, we can take them towards the end of the meeting today. Next is Vice President Education. So if we have the president being the CEO, what do you think the Vice President Education would be?
Maybe director, senior director, VPs. But the vice president education is actually the backbone of the club. That's what I can say.
Yes, that's correct, Toastmaster Rahul. And I thought that the best way to describe the Vice President Education would be the Chief Operating Officer. They are the second officer in ranking in the Toastmasters community, but well, they have a lot of work at hand. They are the ones whom you see setting up the weekly agenda. They are the ones who are driving the educational goals. They are the ones who plan and conduct contests. And there are a lot of transferable skills that you can take back home if you perform in this role. Any guesses? Unmute and share. What do you think the Vice President Education, what is it that you learn in this role and take back home?
Networking.
Right? Networking is a great skill. What else?
Organization.
Absolutely. Organization, networking.
Time management.
Time management. Brilliant. Let's see what we've written here. Goal setting, because they help you achieve your goals. Planning and execution. And planning is what we heard from Toastmaster Shilpa. Negotiation. Who's the one who's actually convincing you to deliver your speeches apart from your mentors? The song that I'd like to dedicate is Padhna Likhna Seekho, Oh Mehnat Karne Walo. All right, with that, let's take a stop here and move on to our second section. Our second section is the table topic section. Today, I'd like to invite Toastmaster Mehak on the virtual podium to conduct this session today. Well, Toastmaster Mehak is an exemplary college student who's recently been awarded with the SOTI Award for the year 2022-23 in her college. SOTI, Student of the Year? Well, it just doesn't exist only in movies. We have one right here, right now with us. And she claims to be a little high maintenance, a little lazy, and occasionally even a little insane. Let's see if we can get to witness a wee bit of that in today's session. Over to you, Toastmaster Mehak.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Deepti, for such a wonderful introduction. Greetings, everyone. My role as a table topic master is to give you some of the impromptu speaking topics so you can think on your feet and you can give a shot at the table topics. Starting with the table topic session, each speaker is required to speak for about 1 to 2 minutes. 30 seconds would be provided on the upper side, and the topics for the day would be related to the theme for the meeting, that is related to the leadership. So first, I would request an experienced member to come up on stage and take up a topic, and further we can invite guests on the stage for the further topics. So any volunteers as an experienced member for the table topics? Anyone who would like to volunteer, or should I pick up on my own? Okay, I see Toastmaster Mohit raising his hand. Okay, so the topic for you is, so now I would also like to mention that today I have made the topics in line with the leaguers, and the topic goes on, and you have to speak upon that topic according to how that leaguer would, or the thing that the leaguer has done, and how would you in that position had done some sort of the thing if you want to align it with that of the leaguer. So the leaguer assigned to Toastmaster Mohit is Mahatma Gandhi, and the topic is, as a leaguer, your goal is to turn "oh no" into "oh yes." I repeat, as a leaguer, your goal is to turn "oh no" into "oh yes." The stage is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mehak, for such a brilliant topic. I'm going to try to imagine myself as Mahatma Gandhi and try and turn the "oh no's" to "oh yes." I can imagine the "oh no's" coming when we have this executive committee nominations. And even though there's a lot of enthusiasm in the session like the one that Toastmaster Deepti is conducting today, but when it comes to raise of hands for who would like to take up these roles, then there are lots of "oh no's." Now, as Mahatma Gandhi, I can remember one of the stories which some of you might have heard, but I would like to repeat that. Right. So there was this lady who came with her son to Mahatma Gandhi, because Mahatma Gandhi was this child's hero, and this child had a disease which required for him to stop consuming salt. Right? So this lady thought that I'll take him to Mahatma Gandhi, and if Gandhi says to him that you stop taking salt, then he would stop consuming salt, which would help his health to become better. Now Mahatma Gandhi talked to, she traveled for miles to reach Gandhi's place along with her son, and told her the situation. Gandhi said, you come back after 1 month. Now, after 1 month, she did come back and put the same question again in front of Gandhi. And this time around, Gandhi said that, listen, son, I would like to ask you to stop consuming salt. Now, the lady was very perplexed. Why is it that 1 month back, when he could have said it, he waited for all this time and is saying it now? So she asked him, why did it take you 1 month? And that's when Gandhi said that I took 1 month because before telling him to stop consuming salt, I wanted to try that myself. In this 1 month, I have not taken salt at all in my dishes or whatever I'm consuming, whatever I'm eating. And now I'm in a position to say that to this child. Now, again, I have done those roles myself when it comes to the executive committee, president, vice president, education, sadhana, and I can say that you would be never regretting if you take up these roles. I hope that helps convert your "oh no's" to "oh yes." And back to you, the table topic master.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mohit, for such a brilliant take on the topic. And I could surely take back that if you want to reflect in a position of leaguer, first you have to be like a leaguer. So now, any other person who would like to take up a topic? Okay, I see hands raising. Toastmaster Lokesh, would you like to go next?
Yeah, maybe after a guest.
Okay. So now I would like to invite on stage Raj Mehta sir to please take up a topic.
Sure.
So the leaguer for you is Steve Jobs, and the topic is, a good leaguer knows that Monday is just a state of mind. I repeat, a good leaguer knows that Monday is just a state of mind. The stage
Thank
is
you.
yours.
Thank you, table topic master. We have seen many leaders in our lives. They are everywhere around us. We see them in our bosses. We see them in our family members. And also we see them when we go for different meetings. We have also heard and read about leaders who are not there around us, but they have changed the world by their own creations, by their own innovations, and also by ensuring that the people who get their assets or who get their knowledge after them are able to use it. One of them was Steve Jobs. We know that he faced a lot of problems, lot of opposition whenever he wanted to introduce new thing in his company, Apple, because his operating system was different and his way of thinking was different. And whenever he would come on the stage, he would say, yes, it is a thing I want to do. Be there is nobody else with me or not. That also brings us to the thinking that there may be some differences, there may be some resistances, but any other working day is a state of mind, because we cannot depend on. I would say that Monday, what people think Monday is just they think that it is something which is resisting us from going to office, or it is something which calling us back to Sunday and going back to the comfort zone. But Monday is just a state of mind, and Steve Boss reminds us again and again that if you want to do something in this world, let go the Sundays or the weekends or anything else. Just think that Monday is nothing. There is no resistance called Monday. Just be there on the path and keep going, and you will one day become a person who will be remembered by many generations to come. With this, I would like to conclude my speech. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think the thing that I was able to take back is that your resilience matters the most, and how you pursued with your thing that you wanted to develop and wanted to change the environment for everyone, with all the justice. And today we can see that we have so many new equipments coming up in this era with the Vision Pro Act, something that it's been around the corner now. Next, I would like to invite on stage Toastmaster Lokesh to take up a topic.
Yes.
So the leader for Toastmaster Lokesh is Nelson Mandela, and the topic is leadership is like solving a Rubik's Cube, complex, frustrating, and occasionally requiring strategic planning. I repeat the topic. Leadership is like solving a Rubik's Cube, complex, frustrating, and occasionally requiring strategic planning. The stage is yours.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster Mehak. I am not taking this occasion as a Solatium Award for my speech, but as an opportunity to highlight how Nelson Mandela as a leader and how EC members as leaders can solve the puzzle. When you are solving that puzzle, remember that your mind, your hands, your eyes, your ears, everything is on the puzzle. You're not looking away, you're not looking at the TV, you're not looking at anybody else. There is no other thought in your mind. And those EC members, just like all the body organs, are part of the whole ecosystem that creates a platform where you solve the puzzle, where you have frustration of not having too many people coming in the meeting, sometimes the frustration of not having enough speakers, sometimes not having enough team members to motivate people to speak. And that entire system is repeated week after week. So it is not like once a year, once a month. It's week after week, 52 weeks. And if the EC term is 6 months, we are talking about 26 weeks of hard labor. Creating the event, looking for the speech, looking for the speaker, evaluator. So all those part of the puzzle of the whole event, which has to fall in our terms as a storytellers club on Sunday, has to be done by the whole team. And that's what I think the Nelson Mandela story can relate very, very effectively of how he struggled with his own community in South Africa, but still could become victorious. And that's how our EC members should work. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Rakesh. And this what counts for being committed towards your role. Committed towards what you have applied for and what you can do in your respective terms. Next up, I would like to invite a guest. Guest Piyush, would you like to take up a topic?
Sure, sure.
Okay,
But I am new. I might not do the justice to all the great
yes, sure,
Toastmasters.
you can try this topic.
Sure.
The topic for you is, first up, the leader is Malala Yousaf, and the
Okay.
topic for you is, a good leader knows that the best ideas can come from anywhere. I repeat the topic. A good leader knows that the best ideas can come from anywhere. The stage is yours.
Okay. I would like to you to imagine a place where a woman is not considered as a part of the a woman is considered like who should stay at home. She should not be educated, and the only work for the woman is doing houseworks. I mean, I respect that it is their culture, and you know what, but in such a way, like in a place where like going in a place where internet is not considered something as a good thing, because it shows it is associated with sexual things and pornography. So in their culture, mostly it is rejected as something that women should not do. But taking that inspiration from such a thing, and writing about, so Malala Yousaf, the only source for her to to get these ideas of women empowerment are through the internet. And even you can imagine her mom, like if she's writing against the terrorist organizations, against the Taliban, and how her mom would have reacted to that. Imagine your mom if you are writing against a politician here or a gang leader or something, and still she wrote about it. She took a inspiration from still took that inspiration and made it into her strong resolve, through which she is able to empower and inspire a lot of women in a place where women empowerment, I would say it is not the priority. Yes, and we all know, like for her work, like small girl, a Taliban targeted a small girl, like a sniper shot her. It was a clear assassination attempt. So from a small girl we got, I mean, hundreds of thousands of women got the inspiration. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guest Piyush, for such a detailed topic and detailed take over the topic. I just want to mention that being visionary and transformative is what Malala Yousaf thought of, and how that's what changed the society for the good as well. We can take up one last topic. Okay, so we can take up two topics now. I see Toastmaster Saurabh raising his hand. So the topic for you is, first up, the leader is Indira Gandhi, and the topic is, a simple smile or an act of kindness make a significant impact. A simple smile or an act of kindness makes a significant impact. The stage is yours.
Thanks for the topic, Toastmaster Mehak. So when I think of Indira Gandhi, these words or phrases that you mentioned, kindness, do not resonate directly. But some things that come to mind are, she used to lead with a very deterministic position, and some of the examples of that were our war with Pakistan, in which we had come out victorious in around 1971, where Bangladesh or at the time East Pakistan was segregated from Pakistan. And also, the thing about her is that before all this happened, she used to be called Gungi Gudiya by some of the senior leaders in the parliament. So, you can imagine what transformation she went through. And so I think, it was Jawaharlal Nehru, her father, who had given her the opportunity to try, be part of some of the conversation he used to have. And, the kindness he showed to her that helped her, be the kind of leader that she was. I would say that she still holds some very, what you can say, contradictory views in people's minds, whether she was a good leader or not a good leader, especially considering the national emergency that she declared. But yes, so I would agree that, kindness goes a long way in giving an opportunity to someone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Saurabh, for a brilliant take on the topic, on the kindness and how a simple act of even smiling can go miles and achieve as a leader. Now we have Toastmaster Arjun. So Arjun, the topic for you is, okay, first, the leader for you is Mark Zuckerberg, and the topic is, leadership is like a roller coaster ride full of thrilling highs and unexpected twists. Leadership is like a roller coaster ride full of thrilling highs and unexpected twists. The stage is yours.
Mark Zuckerberg's life is a complete example of how you can go from being a hero to a zero, how you can go from being a hero to a villain, and back to hero maybe, and back to villain, and from being this cool kid. I remember in 2012, back in 2010 to 2015, all the people wanted to get into Facebook, and now nobody wants to work for them because they are seen as an evil company. So that is these situations, these kinds of highly dynamic and highly changing situations, and these are the places in which leadership is most severely tested, and the places where really you need a leader. Like guiding a technology company through its changes, or guiding a fledgling little empire. Like, for example, if you read history, the way to read history is that I used to think of all these little kingdoms and empires as the startups of their day. If you look at like Shivaji starting up, or like if you look at Cyrus the Great, or if you look at the Dutch people coming in India, or the Portuguese, or the French, and all these people. So they all, and whatever they did here, they did because they had some great leaders here. Some of them had to go back, they had to be imprisoned. Some of them were accused of embezzling funds. Right now, I'm reading a book about it's titled The Theft of India, in which they talk about how Pondicherry was founded. It's amazing. I mean, all these characters, all these leaders, like great. These are like very colorful characters, and Mark Zuckerberg is one of them. Like they are pirates, and piracy and leadership. It's kind of it's sometimes intertwined. So yes, you need to be able to handle the ups and downs of lead, and that's when actually your leadership actually shows up. Back to the tabletop.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Arjun, for such a brilliant take upon the topic. Now, for a food for thought for all the things in the leadership is like that we covered today an extreme pool of the leaders that help in transforming the society. The three of the most important thing that occurs in a leadership is the first one being the vision. You set a vision for yourself, for the society you want to change. The second one being the change that you want to make, that is how you are committed towards it. Second one being the commitment. And the last one is the transformation, like how the society has been transformed. So when you start from a vision, you're committed towards it, and then the transformation will actually happen. So if you want to be a leader, note the three things that you want to equip in your leadership and how you perform it. So all the best to everyone, to all the new leaguers coming up. And with this, I would like to present the stage back to our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Deep.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mehek, for conducting a brilliant and an insightful table topic session. Let us move back to our EC roles. And here I go and share my screen. All right, we move on to the Vice President, Public Relations. Who do you think can we relate to in general terms, in industry terms, when we talk about public relations? Well, it could well be the
corporate communication.
Yes, corporate communication. Well, we related it with marketing. Well, they are the ones who design the face of the club. They are the ones who showcase us on the different social media. They create our presence. They are the ones who help us design and define the newsletters, the posters for every meeting. What are the transferable skills that we learn in this role? Let's take a quick tip. The hard skills that we learn are video and image editing, photography, and of course, writing. Right? Collaboration. Because it is the PR who has to collaborate, speak with the Toastmaster of the day, get information, speak with different people who holding the newsletter, and so many other things, right? They are the ones who are doing the collaboration work. And of course, marketing skills. So what song would you want to dedicate to the Vice President, Public Relations?
Not a song, but just a statement. जो दिखता है वो बिकता है.
बहुत बढ़िया. That is absolutely bang on. All right. So the song that we would like to dedicate to VPPR, as we lovingly call them, is तेरे जैसा यार कहाँ ऐसा यार आना. All right. Let's move on to the next role. Vice President membership. We relate Vice President membership to the head of human resources. And why so? They are the ones who are doing the member conversions. They are the ones who are working on the ground. Right? In this role, what do you think are the various transferable skills that you'll get to learn? Any guesses? Has everybody understood the VP membership? Is that clear? Newer members? A thumbs up will do. Okay, Piyush, I get, but I don't see a thumbs up from Ankan or, okay, Saurabh, I got yours. Ankan, clear?
Yeah, I did already.
Oh, okay. Blinken, you missed me. I missed seeing you. All right. So let's come to the transferable skills. They are people skills because they are the ones who are doing a lot of talking on the ground, right? They are the ones who get to gather or garner the influential skills or the influencer skills, which are the talk of the town these days. Be a social media influencer. This is where you get a chance to acquire those skills. And this is where you get the confidence to meet and greet, to understand, to break ice and have conversations on the fly. This is where you get to develop your active listening skills. Let's move on. The song, Mujhse Shaadi Karogi. That's the fun and the punk here. All right. Let's move on to the role. The next one is the secretary.
TM Deepti, sorry to interrupt, but while going along this slide, can you also mention who is the one in charge of
currently
for the our club?
Yeah. So current okay. So let's I'll surely do that. So let me break for the general evaluation to start, and when I continue in the next segment, we'll go through the different roles. All right.
Sure. Thanks.
Great. Thank you. So with that, let me hand over the virtual podium to Toastmaster Arjun, who's our general evaluator for today, for the evaluation section. Toastmaster Arjun. Toastmaster Arjun. Okay, while Arjun, you're on mute, and neither can we see you. So by the time you join us on audio and video, we can walk the rest of us. Okay, you're there. So over to you, Arjun.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Sorry, I'm so sorry. So we are in the evaluation section of today's meeting now. For the first presentation, I'd like to call upon the evaluator for Toastmaster Lokesh's speech. Toastmaster Piyush. No. Toastmaster Deeptendu. Toastmaster Deeptendu is the evaluator for Toastmaster Lokesh's speech. And so, Toastmaster Deeptendu, take it over.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. So today, Toastmaster Lokesh delivered a speech titled, "What is FBA?" Now, first up, I could see a solid opaque black structure hiding a part of the presentation. It was actually hiding a part of the text. That probably was because you had only shared the presentation. That means everything else on the screen was being seen as a solid opaque block. So this is one thing that all of us need to keep in our mind when we are presenting something online. Toastmaster Lokesh started with a context. The speech title was very straightforward. What is FBA? And he was going to tell us about FBA through his presentation. But before jumping onto the presentation, he laid a very solid context. He talked about trust issues. He talked about how does inter-nation business work? How can India get business for its various manufacturers and stakeholders? And he laid a wonderful context with all that. And he also, basically what he did was he gave a very long description of some problems, some challenges, and he set the base for how does FBA address those problems and challenges. But here is something that I would like to suggest. While laying of context is extremely important while delivering a speech, it still could have been broken down into smaller parts. Maybe there could have been 2 to 3 crystal clear problems that Lokesh could have addressed or talked about during the introduction, during the context laying part, and then gone on to the presentation. For me, it was too verbose, too lengthy a monologue to keep up with. So editing of the context, editing of the introduction is something that I would recommend Lokesh to look on. And tips, how can he do that? He could do that by taking advantage of vocal variety, emphasizing certain parts, not emphasizing certain parts. He could go in a question answer format. He could ask a question, then answer it himself. So that is a problem and solution kind of a paradigm. He could use that. He could also do a pre-summary. So he could have described everything, and just before jumping onto the presentation, he could have done a pre-summary of all that he had spoken about and up until that point. But for me, one of the highlights of the speech was he talked about some interpersonal dynamics. So every speech, even if it is about a body like FBA or anything for that matter, needs to have some amount of emotional quotient or human connect. And Lokesh talked about a little incidents, like if he's competing with two other exporters or two other stakeholders, and he has to put them down or maybe talk negatively about them. What are the ramifications of that? So he did touch upon some human connect or human context that comes into the picture as well. uh, Another recommendation for Lokesh is that the goal was to use the power of PPT, and he could have made an animated PPT and just walked through that animated PPT. So maybe there are some boxes coming from left and right, up and down, and then he could have just made it into a story along with the animations that were there in the PPT. All in all, the speech was really good. I think editing of the introductory part and really leveraging the power of PowerPoint software is something that he could work towards. But certainly, when you lay a very strong context and human connect at the beginning of the speech, you automatically set up the audience for understanding the rest of your speech. With that, I would like to hand it back to Mr. General Evaluator.
Toastmaster Arjun, you might be
Okay,
speaking
okay.
on mute.
What a great evaluation. Truly wonderful, as always, from Toastmaster Dityendu. So for the rest of my tag team partners who were listening throughout the whole meeting, I will call upon. I think while you're calling at them at the end of the meeting, they go in the opposite order. I think tag and GAT. So I think the grammarian event report comes first. Am I right? Okay. So the grammarian for today was Toastmaster. Grammarian for today was Toastmaster Ankan. So can I have Toastmaster Ankan on the stage for this grammarian?
Thank you to Toastmaster Arjun. So, as a grammarian, my job was to listen all these speeches and present some good usage of English and some not so good usage of English. And my report for today's meeting is ready. As for some good usage of English, initially in his speech itself, Toastmaster Lokesh shared a PPT where there was a phrase "we are better together." He later used it in his speech as well. So it was there. Some other usage of good usage by Toastmaster Lokesh was ecosystem, victorious, and of course Solatium. Other than that, Toastmaster Mehak used a phrase in her topic itself. Monday is just a state of mind. Guest Piyush used words like resolve, empower, and inspire. Toastmaster Saurav used a word deterministic position. And of some not so good usage of English, there was a use that because of all the issues we did so and so. It could be rather said as because of various issues we did so and so. And for the word of the day, it was Toastmaster Lokesh who used it, Solatium, in his table topic session. And other than that, maybe word itself was a bit out of topic, so maybe because of that. But I will encourage every speaker to use it in their next meeting, the word of the day. So that's all from a grammarian report today. Thank you.
Yes. Solatium. I never knew of that word before today. I really did not know that was the word. So our next evaluator, the next member of my tag team or GAT team is the R counter, and the R counter report for today will be presented by Toastmaster Mohit. Toastmaster Mohit.
Thank you, Toastmaster Arjun. I hope everyone can see my screen. This is our report card for the day, and your name should appear here so you can see how you've done individually. And we should also look at the bottom row, which tells us how we've done as a team. Some of those orange boxes reflect areas where we need improvement. And the red box there today shows that we've used a lot of you knows. In one of my mentoring sessions, a mentor told me that everybody has a dance, right? If you recall your childhood days when you would give a speech, you would go back and forth while giving the speech, or you would look at the top and then down. So that is what he called as a dance. And then there is dance on the number of the words that we use as well. Some words that we often repeat are called your dance. And that's where we need to improve. We don't want to go back and forth in our speeches, and neither do we want to repeat these words. So let's be mindful of trying to avoid unnecessary use of our dance, which for today is, this is my report. I would like to hand it back to the general evaluator of the day. Thank you.
This is a hard job, right. Another thing that I use a lot is right. I've started using right. I will say what I want to say and then say right. Our next tag cat team member who will present their report right now is Toastmaster Rahul, who will be presenting his timer's report for the entire.
Thank you, Toastmaster Arjun. Is my screen visible to all of you?
Yes,
it is.
Great. So as you can see, this is the timer sheet, and I'll start from the prepared speeches first. So we had one speaker, Toastmaster Lokesh. So he has taken 7 minutes 30 seconds. He's qualified. In fact, all the role players are qualified. So you can have a look at the table topic speaker starting from Toastmaster Mohit until Toastmaster Arjun. So they all are qualified in their table topic speeches. Then we have Diptendu as a speech evaluator for Toastmasters Lokesh speech, and he is also qualified. And yeah, he's just ended his evaluation just on time. So it took 3 minutes 30 seconds. So yeah, everyone is qualified, and yeah, over to you, Toastmaster Arjun. Thank you.
Thank you for that amazing report. Now we have the table topics evaluator, Toastmaster Diptendu. Diptendu, please present your Toastmaster evaluation reports.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. General Evaluator. Starting with Mohit. Topic, turn oh no to oh yes. So mapping of a table topic to a real life scenario is like digging for gold and actually finding it. So hats off to Mohit for doing that. But then immediately he moved on to another story about Gandhiji, whose summary was essentially walking the talk. And then he connected back to his initial context of EC roles and said that as EC member, I can vouch that you won't regret. All in all, he connected all the dots. It was a complete circle. In a way, it was a perfect table topics. But my recommendation could have reduced the Gandhiji's part by 20% and just added it to the end of the speech, talking a little bit more about EC roles and how did it help him. Great job done. Talk on to Toastmaster Raj. A leader knows that Monday is just a state of mind. The good part about Raj's speech was he used prompts from the title, that is the word Steve Jobs and Monday, throughout the speech. And the way he spoke had a note of motivation. That is what we actually need on a Monday. But my recommendation is that, again, he could have broken down his speech into segments. It has to be easy to understand, easy to digest. So just always look for breaking down whatever you speak into smaller, understandable chunks. On to Toastmaster Lokesh. Leadership is like solving a Rubik's Cube. He invoked EC members being a part of a puzzle in his speech. This is a pivot. The game that was given was Rubik's Cube. Lokesh started talking about a puzzle, which is actually a very good tactic. One might not know about Rubik's Cube, but one definitely knows about puzzle. So he pivoted and changed the game. This is what I liked about the Toastmaster Lokesh's speech. But then again, recommendation would be try to stick to the topic that has been given as much as possible so that the dots get connected for the audience that are listening to you. On to Piyush. A good leader knows that best ideas can come from anywhere. Well, he started with a sentence, I would like you to imagine a place Now, once you have said this statement, the audience starts visualizing. So, what a perfect way to begin a speech. I want you to imagine, and automatically a picture starts developing in front of the audience's mind. So, a good way to start. The volume, unfortunately, was too low. It was very difficult for me to latch on to other things that Toastmaster Piyush said. So, maybe he could speak at a higher decibel level. Toastmaster Saurabh, a smile or act of kindness can make significant impact. He talked about the leader given was Indira Gandhi, and he kept talking about Indira Gandhi for the better part of his speech. And he connected back or brought the attention back to the topic only during the concluding part of his speech. Now, that's a good tactic. I appreciate that, because in a table topics, you should be able to connect back to the topic at least during the conclusion. But then the recommendation here is that try sticking to the topic, maybe start with the topic, on to the leader that was given, and back to the topic. Finally, we had Arjun. Leadership is like a roller coaster ride. So words are so beautiful. When you say hero to zero and back to hero, this gives a roller coaster like feeling to the audience. So he used that, and he aligned his speech with the topic. But then again, I think Arjun again moved to another tangent, another story, going back to history, and picked up some other examples. This makes it a little difficult to stay on track if multiple tangents are opened up. So he had a good beginning. I wish that he could have just continued in the same way with Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook's story. All in all, everyone did a really good job with table topics tonight, this evening, and I wish you the very best for future endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you for such a detailed report. The meeting started a little bit late. There was a great introduction by the star. And since the agenda of today's meeting was more of this was not a regular meeting, this was more of a educational session, I would say, educational session, PMOD or something. So so all the things were a little bit different. There was a formality of everything. Everything was appropriately formal. Toastmaster Mehak asked all the guests to introduce themselves, and Toastmaster Deepti's first segment as the PMOD was great. All in all, it was a great meeting, very educational. I learned a lot that I did not know before, especially the names of all the division directors. Toastmaster Lokesh gave a very he came with his business presentation, I feel. And Toastmaster Mehak was great as the table topics master with very innovative topics. Toastmaster Deeptendu's evaluations are always on point. I mean, it's not even I can't even criticize them. I'm not qualified enough to criticize them. Other than that, I think we are running a little bit late, so I think I'll cut this evaluation also short and hand it over back to the TMOD Toastmaster Deepti.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Arjun, for having all the evaluators called on stage and sharing your thoughts about each of the role players today. We'd like you to share any detailed reports or points on the EC group or in the official group. If you think so, you've missed out because of paucity of time. All right, so before I move on to the remaining 3 roles, I would like to share what Toastmaster Saurabh asked with me. Who are the people in the current EC roles? So let me share my screen here and talk about the roles that we're talking. Okay. So immediate past president, we start with that, is Toastmaster Mehak. She's a 2-term president. We all know that, and she is the current president. VP Education is myself, Toastmaster Deepti. VP Membership was Toastmaster Renu Mittal, but she had to step down from that role because of personal reasons. Okay, so currently we are all sharing the role of VP Membership. We have shared responsibility. VP PR is Toastmaster Diptendu. Secretary is Toastmaster Ankan. Treasurer, Toastmaster Lokesh. and Sergeant at Arms, Toastmaster Mohit. Let's move on to a secretary. What does a secretary do? He is the head of the Documentation Center of Excellence for our club. He is the one who has the club collateral. He is the one who jots down meeting minutes. He is the one who records member attendance and is also a base camp manager. We'll do a separate module on what all can a base camp manager do. But for now, it's good enough to know that apart from the president and the VP education, it's the secretary who has the rights to be a base camp manager on the TI website. The transferable skills that you learn in the role of a secretary are record keeping, active listening skills, and of course, writing skills, because you need to prepare the meeting minutes. That is what you learn here. The song that I would like to dedicate here is Likhe Jo Khat Tujhe, Wo Teri Yaad Mein Hazaron Rang Ke Fasane Ban Gaye. All right. Moving on to the next role. The treasurer. Who do you think the treasurer is? This is an easy giveaway.
Rich person.
The one who has the most money?
Yes, he is the CFO. And our club CFO at this point in time is Toastmaster Lokesh. He's the one who handles the club finances and budgets. And Ankan rightly said, he's the richest man here. He is the one who interacts, or the treasurer is the one who interacts with TI for membership dues and any transfers involved. What transferable skills do you think you learn in the role of a treasurer? Well, these are here. Dispersing funds, how to use the funds that are collected. Financial record management. Budgeting. These are the three main transferable skills that you learn in the role of a treasurer. And recently I've witnessed a real-time story where the head of a CA firm actually trained, or rather gave the opportunity to train a fellow or a reporting person to be the treasurer of the club, and he actually skilled that person with all the financial aspects of maintaining company, including creating guidance, allocating budget funds, making sure that they achieve the target set for the year, all through the role of a treasurer. What song would you want to dedicate to the treasurer of a club? Well, yes, that's his job. That's the job of a treasurer. I would rather say paisa, ye paisa ek, paisa, ye paisa do. Paise ka hi sara khel. Yes, that's correct. With that, let's come to the last role that we want to discuss today. It's the Sergeant at Arms. Sergeant at Arms is the brand ambassador of a club. He's the one who welcomes people and sets the tone of the meeting. Let's see, what all does he do? Yes, he sets the tone of the meeting. He is the one who manages logistics in the physical and the virtual meetings. So since ours is an online club, he's the one who would be responsible for ensuring that the meeting opens in time. Whether he owns the account or not, he's the one who's facilitating it. And in a physical setup, in a physical meeting setup, they're the ones who are arranging tables, ensuring that the room is in order before people walk in. So that's the role of the Sergeant at Arms. What are the transferable skills that you think we will learn in this role? Well, first and foremost, organization and people skills. They are the ones who are putting things in order, calling it in order. And they are the ones who always get the stage time. And after all, at the end of the day, that is what we are here for. We need the stage time. We need the time to speak so that we can learn to speak better. With that, the song that I would like to dedicate to the Sergeant at Arms is Aaye meherba. Anything that you would, any song that comes to your mind, please feel free
Oh,
to share.
this was exactly what I was going to sing. Oh my God.
That is Club Petty, Diptendu.
Oh my God. Yeah, what a coincidence. My God.
Great, yes. So with that, we cover the 8 roles of the executive committee. But apart from these 8 roles, what we need to always remember is that the person or the role that has the maximum power is, any guesses?
The member.
Absolutely. So member is the one who has the maximum power. And because everybody in the EC is ultimately working towards growing a member. They are the ones who are, I wouldn't want to use the word serve, but they are the ones who are focused in helping the members grow. So that is why the member is the most important piece of the EC puzzle. With that, I'd like to end my session here, stop the share, and pause for any quick questions that anybody would like to have. Okay, I'd like to call upon our president, Toastmaster Mehak, on the virtual podium.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Deepti, for such a wonderful presentation and for explaining each role in very much detail. Now with this, let's quickly take up the polls for the session. I am going to launch the polls and I would request everyone to vote. Guests are also welcome to vote. Meanwhile, I would also request the guests to please share your feedback about the meeting. And please let me know if you're able to access the Google form. I would first like to invite on stage guest Piyush to please share your feedback, your experience about the meeting.
Thank you, Mac. So, I mean, it was a really great experience for me. And I know, like, all the feedback I got, and I think I am already feeling that there is something happening in my mind that is improving my oral communication. I can feel the gears moving in my mind. And thank you also, Toastmaster Deepti. Your, I mean, all your, you explained the organization structure of the Toastmaster. Like, I didn't know like there was a organization like this that is completely focused on just improving the oral communication skills for its. And yeah, I mean, it is for me, I would say it was, if you are if you can call it that, for me it was a really great sales pitch. And I uh, I really want to be a member of this group.
Thank you so much, Piyush, for your positive feedback. And I hope and wish to see you as a member in the next meeting. Meanwhile, everyone, I would also like to all of you know that we have also the EC preference polls. I would request all of the members to please vote for your preference about the EC role that you would want to take up in the next year, in the next elections maybe, or the role that aligns with you. And here I'm launching the polls for the same. I would request everyone to please vote for this as well. And I would request every member to please do the voting for this one. say I have got 4 responses till now. I'm waiting for a few more. I would request everyone to please vote for the same. Guests are also welcome to vote. If you want to vote, you can please do so. Meanwhile, I would like to acknowledge the presence of DTM Raj Mehta with a huge round of applause and would like to welcome him on stage to please provide your feedback for the meeting.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mehak. I was ready for this. I really like the meeting because I have been in touch with Mohit and Dityendu. And when I heard this name for the first time, Toastmaster Club of Storytellers, I just felt that this is a club which was required. And I have been looking for such a club. In the meantime, I have taken membership of two clubs, and I'm also a mentor of one new clubs. I may not be able to join this club as a member, but I will keep continuing attending this meeting. That's number one. Number two, I really like the theme of the meeting, which is about EC members and roles and everything. The best thing which I liked about is that the Toastmasters told us not only just about the EC members and their roles, but also the whole structure of Toastmasters International, how it works. Like Toastmasters International, then regions, then districts, divisions, area clubs. And this is how it should be told, and you are bang on it. I just like to put one point here that the hierarchy of the EC members is President, Vice President Education, Vice President Membership, Vice President PR, and then Secretary, Treasurer, and Sergeant at Arms. In your presentation, the VP PR came before the VP Membership. And also the immediate past president is the 8th member. So at some places you introduce the immediate past president as the first member of the EC. Also use the word club before any EC position, like club president, club vice president education. So that word club is required. I also felt that the timer, when he interrupted and told when the speech was going on, he told the time to the speaker. So that should have been avoided, because when I saw in table topic sessions and in other sessions, the timer was showing the cards. Then why not while the speech was going on? So maybe that could have been avoided. Overall, it was a great meeting, informative meeting. I really liked the topics of table topics session, and I really like the takes on the topics which was given by different table topic speakers. Overall, it was a great meeting, informative meeting. I really enjoyed it, and I will keep on coming in this club very often. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Your feedback is really efficient, and we hope to improve upon ourselves in the next meeting. Now, with this, I would now like to invite on stage guest Toastmaster Shilpa to please provide your feedback for the meeting.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mehak, for inviting me on stage. So rather than feedback, I would like to share my experience of joining this meeting. I joined only with the one purpose in my mind, to understand more about the EC and how it works. But apart from that, I would say I have so many lessons and I have so many new things of how a meeting could be organized, what is something different that is being done here, which is maybe not a norm at the club that I am a member of. For example, the table topics evaluation. This is the section that I experienced for the first time, and Toastmaster Dipendu was on point with every evaluation, being so active, listening to each table topic speaker, and then using some wonderful words in his vocabulary to explain how things could have gone better, or how the speakers could have improved, or giving his recommendations. relating to what they spoke and how it was linked with the topic, whether it was relinked or not. That was very new experience and a learning curve for me. And then Toastmaster Deepthi, how she was handling the entire MOC today with dedicating songs and giving in that punch of fun and excitement, creating that vibe of a Sunday evening. It was a wonderful experience overall for me, listening to every one of you and then trying to understand that what is it that is different in each one of us and yet unites all of us together as a Toastmasters community, and how it brings us together in our endeavor to learn and grow and improve. I feel because that is the final agenda for each one of us in our minds, whether it is for individual cells or for the entire club or for a district or area level or a division level. So yeah, I am taking a lot of learnings back with me home today. Thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Shilpa, for your positive feedback about the meeting. I hope that you would be joining us the next week as well. Now, with this, we are done with the feedbacks. I would now like to announce the winners for the meeting today. So, starting with the best speaker, the cable topic speaker, the award for the same goes to Toastmaster Mohit. A huge round of applause for him. Congratulations. The next one is for the best auxiliary role player. Any guesses for the best auxiliary role player?
Toastmaster Dipendu.
Yes, absolutely. It is Toastmaster Dipendu.
Thank you.
The table topics evaluator. A huge round of applause for him. Congratulations. And the last one being the best role player. Any guesses for the best role player?
No guesses, I'm certain.
Arjun.
Absolutely. All of you are right. It is Toastmaster Deepthi. A huge round of an applause for her. Congratulations. Now for the best speaker and the best evaluator, it is Toastmaster Lokesh and Toastmaster Dipendu. A huge round of an applause for both of them. Now with this, I would like to switch off the meeting today for the today and would request